Hello everyone, we are on episode 80 of Loners channel.
Roll that intro.
Alright, so today we're doing a video called Why the US Hates Roundabouts. And as a US native, I hate roundabouts.
Honestly, me too. I get very we don't have a lot of, we have some of them here, and when I go through them, I'm like, fuck, like who's gonna go? Like, yeah.
I don't hate them for that reason. I actually don't I don't mind the whole flow of it. I just feel like it takes longer. Because I don't know if it's like this in other places of the world, but our roundabouts aren't like everyone's approaching from a different direction and we flow. There's still a stop sign there.
It's so a yield.
It's a stop.
It's a yield.
The ones I've seen are a stop. I've seen like maybe 2 or 3. One particular being in like Palmdale, near my old job. That one doesn't have a stop sign. That one just you kind of flow. But like in Hollywood, the ones over there in the neighborhoods.
Fuck that. Yeah.
Tell me I'm like you know what? Now
it might be yields.
No, I'm telling you, there's it's like a stop.
Maybe. But you know, the other thing that sucks about them here is that people don't follow them anyway. People just fucking go. If they have a nice car, they just go. And they don't
You talking about roundabouts or?
Yeah, roundabouts. I'm saying I almost got in an accident one time because this person was just like, they were supposed to yield and then they just fucking jump in front of you because they have a nice car and they're just like,
oh, got it. Yeah.
And I'm just like, Jesus Christ. But that happens here, even at stop signs. There is a lot
of unspoken seniority. If your car is nicer here, like people just automatically assume that
they could just go in front of you. Yeah.
God, now I'm second guessing myself. I almost swear that there are stop signs at all 4.
We'll look later.
Oh, now I'm confused.
All right, let's start this one. It's by Cheddar. Why the U.S. hates roundabouts.
I'm gonna go drive to a roundabout later today.
So you can double check. All right, let's begin.
Carmel, Indiana is home to an unusual record. The city of 97,000 people north of Indianapolis boasts over 125 modern roundabouts, more than any other U.S. city, and they're proud of it. This number accounts for 3% of the country's 4,000 total roundabouts.
Yeah, ours look
compared to other countries, the U.S. is not holding any records. France has the most roundabouts with over 30,000 constructed across the country.
Wow.
It is followed closely by the United Kingdom with 25,000 roundabouts. So how did one small Midwestern city become the roundabout capital of the U.S.? The reason can be credited to Mayor Jim Brainerd. During his graduate school trip to England, he observed the ease and safety of the country's numerous roundabouts. Drivers were yielding to traffic and to bikes and to pedestrians.
It kind of these roundabouts are definitely a little different than the ones I'm talking about. I'm not talking about like a giant one. I'm talking about the ones that
small
are
ones.
In neighborhoods.
Yeah,
Those
yeah.
I fucking hate. But it's funny because while you're waiting to go, it's like you're in a game of double dutch. Or a jump rope is going and you gotta jump in, get in, it's your turn.
No unsightly traffic signals and no long lines or congestion. It made me wonder why the U.S. had not built more roundabouts. When Brainerd was elected mayor of Carmel in 1996, he made it his mission to cover the city with roundabouts. But an ease in traffic congestion was not the only reason behind his campaign. In fact, the roundabout is the intersection of choice for many modernized countries because of its proven safety. Carmel, Indiana alone has seen a reduction in the number of injuries from car accidents by about 80% since the 1990s.
Damn.
So if roundabouts are increasing...
I would never have thought that roundabouts would bring that much traffic injuries down. That's insane.
I mean, knock on wood, I never would have thought intersections being... then again, I'm talking about neighborhood ones.
No, but I see. You're talking about the stop sign intersections.
Yeah, but big intersections.
Those look. They're super dangerous. Yeah.
Yeah, because collisions happen obviously perpendicular.
Yeah.
It definitely makes sense why you wouldn't hit a car. It'd be so much harder to hit a car when you're both going the same direction. You know, that like that kind of collision is
And
less
even the
likely
collision
than
would be less impactful. Like it wouldn't be so like boom. Like,
yeah, no, that actually totally makes sense. Like a week and a half or so ago, I was like going one direction, and then I see that my light is like, it just turns. Did it just turn green? Yeah, my light had turned green, but I was still coming down a hill. So I had like a few seconds. It was still green. That means it's been green for like 3-4 seconds now. Okay. And then I just see a car from the other direction go, and I'm thinking, your light did not just turn red and you just like went. Like it had to have been red for a few seconds if my light was green.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
People do that a lot here.
I had to call Brian. I was like,
But it's so dangerous, man. It really.
It's scary because even if my light's green, I'm still looking to see if cars are going.
I do
I
too,
always hear
yeah.
about drunk driving accidents, and that.
I also just don't trust people because sometimes if they have like a Tesla or something that goes fast, they'll just fucking really push the limits on it, and then that's how accidents happen. But yeah.
And that's how accidents happen.
Safety for drivers? Why is America lagging behind?
I hate them. They're the worst things ever.
Just Americans like me hate it and don't think they're necessary.
I think that it's taking a long time and I'm scared I'm gonna miss the exit I need, and so I end up going maybe 2 or 3 times more than I need to.
Yeah, but at least like on a freeway, when you miss the exit, you gotta go all the way. At least right here, you just make a circle back and you exit.
I think we got off on the wrong foot with roundabouts because maybe they have the same perception I do, where majority of the roundabouts out here aren't in a huge intersection.
Yeah, that's a good point.
They're in
Very small.
neighborhood, small stop sign intersection type things.
Yeah.
And at that point, it's stupid because we're all so
Compact.
compact that it's like, yeah, we all have to stop anyway.
Yeah.
Whereas there, it's just a way to maneuver around the giant.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
It's a different experience, I think.
Yeah, with the bigger ones.
But maybe they just truly hate the bigger ones too. I don't know.
There are over 300,000 existing signalized intersections in the United States. According to the Federal Highway Administration, more than 50% of the combined total of fatal and injury crashes occur at or near these intersections. On average, over 10,000 people are killed each year in collisions at them. Yet, studies show that modern roundabouts reduce accidents by 38% and fatal crashes up to 90%. So why does the collision rate drastically drop? Well, the answer lies in the construction. A roundabout is a small one-way circular intersection built around a raised center island. Drivers must yield to circulating traffic as they enter and exit at their desired street. Because drivers are forced to slow down upon entry, the collision rate drops. They are no longer racing to beat the red light. Even if an accident occurs, injuries are less likely due to the lower speeds. Take note though, this is the definition specifically for what is called the modern roundabout. This is because the modern roundabout is often confused with the similar intersections known as traffic circles or rotaries. Unlike modern roundabouts, traffic circles are much larger in shape. Drivers enter traffic circles in a straight line at faster speeds, and they're not required to yield to oncoming traffic. In modern roundabouts, drivers navigate a gentle curve at a slower pace. Traffic circles often use stoplights or stop signs within the circular intersection. This is Columbus Circle in New York City. Built in 1905, it's considered to be the world's first traffic circle. Following its construction, large traffic circles began spreading around the United States. But because their layout enabled high-speed merging and weaving, they caused more vehicle collisions, and they quickly fell out of favor.
Yeah.
Big issue with these circles was
like a car comes behind her. That's all I'm kidding. Just kidding.
The fact that cars had to suddenly be stopped in the middle of it while everyone's coming in at speed, and that's scary.
That's weird.
That's Gordon Meth, a civil engineer.
And not all our cars perform as fast as others. Then they would get congested. Those were the reasons why circles fell out of fashion, and a lot of government agencies went around trying to get rid of circles.
By the 1950s, development slowed to a halt worldwide. Fast forward to 1966. A city engineer named Frank Blackmore of the United Kingdom wanted to rectify the problems caused by traffic circles. So, he developed what is now known as the modern roundabout. Blackmore established the give way rule for his modern roundabouts, which required entering drivers to yield to circulating traffic. This created a much safer intersection than the original traffic circles.
All right.
The idea quickly gained favor, and the modern roundabout began spreading throughout parts of Europe. The changes Blackmore made were successful, and over time, accident rates dropped drastically.
But the trend was not catching on in the United States. Engineers weren't convinced that the improvements Blackmore enacted were safer for drivers, and Americans still had a largely unpopular opinion about them.
So, American engineer Leif Arsten set out to change that. In 1984, Arsten reached out to Blackmore for help. In 1941, Sir Winston Churchill asked America to join Britain in a struggle to protect democracy. We join you, and together we triumphed. Now, 45 years later, I am calling upon you to help me with the difficult struggle in which we are both engaged. We are trying to bring the British-style roundabout to the Western Hemisphere. The fighting is tough, the slogging is slow, and the resistance is stiff. In the spirit of Anglo-American cooperation, will you join us and lend a hand? Blackmore quickly agreed to a
It's a roundabout. That was so dramatic. That was wild.
meeting with Orsten and traveled to the United States. Together, the two set out around the state of California, persuading traffic heads to begin building modern roundabouts. However, the public
Why?
was not
Kidding me? Oh
convinced.
my god.
Surveys showed only 20% of drivers approved of their construction. Even if project proposals for roundabouts were approved, the two men were often met with protest, and the plans were quickly shut down. Finally, in 1990, Orsten and Blackmore's hard work paid off, and the first two modern roundabouts were successfully constructed in a Las Vegas subdivision. The feat caught the attention of city planners. Other communities followed in their footsteps, and roundabouts slowly began popping up around the U.S.
Although construction started later in the U.S., the timeline of events is not an exclusive explanation for the lack of roundabouts. In fact, there are a few theories that could account for the answer.
First, the American detestation for roundabouts could derive from what is called the availability heuristic. This term describes the way people form an opinion on something based on the immediate thoughts or memories that are associated with it. The scene of Clark Griswold getting trapped while driving in a traffic circle and European Vacation may come to mind.
That's fucking funny.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I cannot get left. There's Big Ben, kids. Parliament.
Or perhaps the time Homer Simpson drives hopelessly around the Lambeth Bridge roundabout before swerving out in a desperate attempt to escape the never-ending nightmare.
Keep turning, keep turning, keep turning, keep turning.
I see an opening.
That's so funny. That is true though. When you put this out on things, it's like people are just like,
Yeah.
oh, it must be the way it is. It's like horrible. Yeah.
Right.
Only to crash into the Queen of England herself.
That's it. I'm acting the way America acts best. Unilaterally.
When thinking about modern roundabouts, many Americans tend to envision traffic circles. This is an easy misconception because the two appear similar at first glance. Ever since the fallout of the original traffic circle that enabled high collision rates in the early 1900s, Americans were left with a bad taste in their mouths. So, the assumption that modern roundabouts will be just as dangerous is formed. Plus, American drivers might simply
Yeah.
just be used to
I think
traffic
it's mainly
lights.
We're just used to intersections and traffic signals historically. I've found that the public sometimes don't like four-way stops where everyone has to stop and yield. They just don't like them because they just get, if there's a lot of traffic, they get kind of confused. I think you get the same effect in a roundabout. You know, the uncertainty level gets to people. There's something comforting, I think, to the red, yellow, green that tells you it's time to go or not go.
They are comfortable with a binary system that controls.
I mean, these modern roundabouts seem like you would get to your destination quicker. I can't tell you how many times you're going somewhere and you just keep hitting a red light.
It is annoying. It's very annoying. You hit stop signs, you hit red lights, and it's just so much stopping, and then waiting, and then stopping.
It's
and
hard on
waiting.
your car.
Yeah.
Especially out here, we live in a city, and I don't know, but a part of me feels like if we had more of these in a city,
Mm-hmm.
people would still abuse it. Like people would still go.
They would
really
try to,
fast
yeah.
Or just be stupid.
Well, they would try to, but it'd
They'd
be
be
harder
doing
for them to go
donuts.
fast. Donuts, yeah, they would probably do that. People do donuts out here a lot.
Their actions and makes decisions for them. Red light stop, green light go. Simple enough, right? In a sense, drivers care more about the illusion of safety created by stoplights. But when they are forced to rely on their own driving abilities, along with the actions of others, it causes a confusing and distressing experience. Another theory could be that Americans just don't know how to use a roundabout.
Yeah.
There are certain parts of the country where they're starting to gain favor, but the reality is that people aren't used to it. You come up to this intersection, this circle, and it tells you to yield, but you're not totally sure how to use it, and you're not used to the concept of going around in a circle to find your exit. So it's a matter of just people getting comfortable with it and used to it. And that comes with critical mass. The more of them there are, the better. So I think that's what the main reluctance is.
Many states don't even require teenagers to navigate one during the road skills driver's exam to obtain their licenses. Even in the turn section on the Virginia State Driver's Evaluation, the roundabout portion reads only, if available. American drivers end up learning how to drive through a roundabout during their first real-world encounter with them. This can cause a stressful experience due to the lack of familiarity.
That's because we don't have enough.
Therefore, the disdain for the experience is established. Lastly, it comes down to awareness. Many Americans don't know how beneficial roundabouts are.
Not only do roundabouts reduce vehicle collisions by 38%, they are also cheaper to construct, reduce congestion, and are better for the environment.
Roundabouts save about $5,000 to $10,000 per year due to the reduced maintenance and electrical cost. They also improve traffic flow. Cars do not have to stop and wait for the light to change.
That is nice.
One study of 3 locations in New Hampshire, New York, and Washington found an 89% average reduction in vehicle delays and a 56% average reduction in vehicle stops in areas where roundabouts replace intersections. Another study in Kansas across 11 intersections found similar results, with a 65% reduction in delays and a 52% decrease in traffic stops. Because of the reduction in traffic delays and stops, roundabouts have a relatively non-existent carbon footprint. One study in Sweden found an average reduction in carbon emissions by 29% and a reduction in fuel consumption by 28%.
Fortunately, it is proven that more and more Americans are coming around to accepting and using roundabouts.
Studies show that once drivers learn how to use them, their attitude towards roundabouts drastically changes. Community surveys where roundabouts were built shows that only 30% of people approved of them before construction, but approval increased to about 50 to 70% after their.
I don't know if you saw that car there, that truck. Yeah, that's American as it gets, baby. Having to put a flag on your the window, and
I will say a lot of these roundabouts aren't in like major cities.
Yeah, well, the one in New York, they gave the example. That's like the original style that has a lot more accidents.
Right, which I would not drive if I had to deal with that. But these ones, like I'm trying to envision the modern roundabout in
a big city
here, like where we drive.
I think it could work, but it just depends.
But are our intersections big enough to create that? They would probably have to be something like these ones right here, the little small ones.
Yeah, probably. The music is too loud, I think, in this because I'm getting distracted by it.
Also, I think that this would interfere with like the crosswalks here. We have so many little.
We do have a lot of crosswalks.
Yeah, like here, there's not a bunch of businesses, but like people. Like if somebody parked on that side of the street, like you know what I'm saying.
That's a good point. That's a point. Yeah, that's a good point.
I definitely think we could implement it more in a lot of areas that are less like busy, but
yeah.
Were built. So, while modern roundabouts may not be widely popular in the US, Americans are slowly coming back around to the idea of them.
Hey.
That one did have a crosswalk right there.
But yeah.
You know, yeah.
Let us know. You guys have probably driven over here before, and it must have been weird too. All the stoplights and all the everything, and people driving too. Let us know your experiences down below, cause
It does get old having to wait. It's just such a first world problem. But
I know, yeah.
But like waiting at red lights, man, I hate it.
Oh man! All right.
Send me a roundabout.
We hope you enjoyed that video, guys. Again, thank you for coming. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and also jump over to our vlog channel. Peace.